Okay, so today for my speech too, these three people will be my audience, and she will be recording. Here. Should I put the letter? Yeah, go ahead. Is that better? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Did you know that more deaths are caused by opiate addiction than by car accidents annually? Many of us here, including me, don't put much effort into understanding or caring about a topic that doesn't concern us or someone that we care about. Meeting people battling drug addiction and those who have been affected by drug addiction has really been an eye-opener to what drug addiction really is. Drug addiction is not a lifestyle choice. It is a huge problem that the United States fails to address. To give you an insight into what drug addiction really is, I will inform you on the severity of drug addiction in the United States, why opiates are so addicting, and lastly, who is helping the issue. Opiates is the most addicting drug in the United States after cocaine, which makes it extremely difficult to treat addiction. To understand the effects of opiates, we must first understand the explanation of what opiates are and what they are designed to do. Opiates, according to Google, opiates are substances that act on opiate receptors to produce morphine-like effects. Medically, they are used for pain relief. Opiates are pain relievers such as Vicodin, oxytocin, as well as heroin, which is a deadly drug. They are designed to essentially block feelings of pain and trigger a release of dopamine, which is a chemical in the body responsible for rewarding the brain, stated by an article posted by The Truth. The problem is that the rush and intensity of dopamine, once the drug is out of your system, is that the level of dopamine is so high, and once it goes low, you feel very intense depression and feelings of dysphoria, which is a state of unease and dissatisfaction with life, which makes the addict feel like they need to go back to the drug in order to feel okay. According to the Betty Foundation, the depressive feelings of anhedonia, the depressive inability to feel pleasure, can drive a user to administer drugs in a reactive attempt to feel pleasure again in a state of low self-control. Besides psychological withdrawal, there is a physical withdrawal that occurs to an addict once they attempt to stop taking the drug. According to drug addiction, the symptoms include nausea, vomiting, insomnia, diarrhea, sweating, anxiety, abdominal cramping, and muscle aches. A withdrawal feels like a horrible case of the flu usually. Ultimately, what makes this drug highly addictive is the pain experience after one stops taking it. The psychological and physical effect afterwards are unbearable, and there's only so much pain that a human can take, and that is why opiates are so addictive. Now that we are aware of why the drug is highly addictive, we can move on to the severity of it in our country today. Since opiates are often prescribed by many people risk the exposure and risk getting addicted to the drug. The opiate addiction affected this country so much that the United States is reported to consume over 80% of the world's opiates, while only representing 5% of the world's population, according to an article by Dr. Lembeck. Today, Dr. Lembeck claims that 4 million Americans are addicted to opiates, 11 million are using prescription opiates recreationally, and more than 2 million are using heroin. And in California, there were more than 70,000 confirmed drug overdose deaths in 2017, and more than 47,000 were involved in opiates. Rubina Kapal from Mental Health Aid says that each day, 140 individuals in the U.S. die of drug overdose, specifically to opiates. The opiate addiction in this country is an issue that is constantly growing and killing millions of people. It has truly taken a toll over our country. Understanding these alarming statistics and being aware of the severity of the drug issue can help us be more understanding and help those in need. Knowing why the drug is addicting is important, and how it's affecting the United States is even more important. But the question is, why is it such a big problem here? With such a high with such a high addiction rate and death rate, it is surprising to see so many people that believe drug addiction is a choice and refuse to help them. Even those aware of the issue and who are leaders do minimal to help stop it. Annual Review claims that a recent study shows that U.S. doctors continue to prescribe 3 times as many opiates as they did in the 90s, and 4 times more as many opiates are prescribed in Europe, and more than 10 times as many opiates are prescribed in Japan. Not only that, but the medical care not only does the medical care continue to overprescribe, but only 1% of the total healthcare budget it goes towards treating addicts, and fewer than 1 in 10 persons with addiction receive treatment. Out of trillions of dollars spent on healthcare, 1% is used towards helping those who cannot help themselves. This means that they are adding to the issue and doing so little to help fix it. In research conducted by the University of Chicago, 44% say opiate addiction indicates a lack of willpower. 32% say it is caused by a character defect, and less than 1 in 5 Americans are willing to associate closely with someone addicted to prescription drugs. Drug addiction is real. In conclusion, drug addiction is real. It is everywhere, affecting people who we know, They are highly addictive. Which is why addicts cannot help themselves with decisions, and adding to the problem with overprescription and no further help giving addicts. Millions will continue to overdose and die. Drug addiction is not a lifestyle choice. It is a huge problem in our country that no one cares enough about. Taking a moment to realize how big of a problem drug addiction is in our country can help us learn, discern, and return. Think about your needs and how you cope. What is your drug? Let's do less judging and more loving. Thank you. Okay, and then here, hope you guys like my speech. Can you guys clap?